Trail markets, you profit.
Yes, not you profit.
Trail markets and TAM features.
Yes.
Okay. Trading for responsible beginners for sure. Responsible day trading page. Yes. Okay. They're all
right. Got it. So, all right. This is being live streamed now. Just be a little patient with us in the beginning right now, because we are not the most technically savvy, except for Dan, of course, and Deivis. But when it comes to me, I'm definitely not the most technically savvy on the planet. Where can I bring up? Oh, chat. Okay. Yes. Good. Perfect. Okay. All right, guys. So I am first going to introduce myself. So the live stream is not showing up on my Facebook.
It's showing up. It's on yours too.
And check YouTube as well.
Look, yes, you're right. So this is yours right now, Lindsay.
Aha. Okay. So remember, we need to set those to public. Okay. And I'm going to mute myself.
You have to set yours to public because I don't have access to it.
Okay. I did put mine public.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Okay.
Running.
We did it. Lo hicimos. We did it. Okay. So guys, what we're going to start first with is just kind of introducing ourselves. And we are going to go through just a little bit of information, and then we're going to go through a little bit of a market rundown for y'all. So first things first, I will, when I see people coming, I can, okay, got it. Perfect. All right. So first things first, I'm Lindsay Duff. I'm the founder and CEO here at Responsible Day Trading. It was kind of started out of something of just, I felt like it was a necessity that, you know, the whole reason I even came with the name Responsible Day Trading is there was so much irresponsibility that I was seeing in traders that I wanted to put that forefront and have that as our entire thought process. And which actually, you know, led to where we are today, which is, you know, the scholarship for responsible day trading. Now, here we have Dan, I was going to say Daniel. It's weird to call you Daniel. Dan and Deivis. Dan was our very first scholarship student, and Deivis was from 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And both of them have now joined the team. So I'm going to we'll start with Dan. You can introduce yourself. Tell them, you know, currently I am in Jamaica because I figure, you know, if you can work from anywhere, why not choose Jamaica, you know? So, but they're going to tell you about where they're from, and we're going to have them tell you a little bit about their journey.
Cool. So I'll start then. So yeah, hi guys, I'm Dan. I'm from England. I was the first scholarship winner. So I've been with RDT for a couple of years now. My trading's changed a lot over the past couple of years. I've progressed a lot, always adapting, finding new ways of growing. Ever since meeting, say, Deivis and Cesar and all the other traders, we learn off each other. So my trading has developed through that. I'm currently doing the U Profits Funded Account Challenge. We've been very busy though with the curriculum. So I'm also the head of the English curriculum, which we are almost finished. We're almost finalizing it. It will be finished and out by the end of October. So we're really looking forward to that. Apart from that, I've overcome a lot of things with RDT, a lot of struggles and challenges, and it's been a great journey. And cliche, but we are all like a family here, and we all love giving back to one another. So I'll hand you over to Deivis now.
Hey guys, my name is Deivis. I'm from Venezuela, living in Spain, and I'm with RDT around 1 year. Okay, working with them as a coach for the Spanish community. It's very important that we are working right now 100% to have the entire curriculum done by the end of the October. And right now we got the fundamental course ready completely to be used for the Spanish community. And my journey as a trader is quite a really good experience with RDT, with the guys, because all the time we are sharing our thoughts our trades, our mistakes, our profit, and it's really, really, really helpful for a part of the community in RDT.
Yeah. Like really, like Dan said, it does sound a little cliche, but honestly, we have definitely become like a family here. And I love seeing the relationships you guys have built outside of responsible day trading, finding out that they're having conversations outside of trading stuff is really, it's special to me because it's been able to create the space for people to come together. And trading can be a very lonely job. So it's great to have people that you can, talk shop with a lot of times. So, all right. So the first thing that we are going to do, let's actually go over to the website and let's talk just a little bit about what we're doing right now. So Dan is going to be sharing his screen with us. Awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to request more control. Okay. So first thing we want to talk about is the class schedule that we have for this week. So if you haven't already looked at it, we do have quite a few things going on for you guys. Of course, we have where we're going to do just a little bit of a market rundown here. Later on today, you're going to have an introduction to day trading futures. So some of you guys may already be very familiar with that. Some of you may not, but it will be Cesar and Angelina going through introduction to day trading futures. Tomorrow, we're going to do a little divergence lesson. Now, I don't know if you know much about us, but the MACDs and divergence are like our bread and butter. It's really what it's, everybody has their edge. This is ours, right? And so we're just going to have a little bit of a lesson. And what we're actually going to do, and when we do the introduction to day trading futures, and when we do the divergence micro lesson, we're actually going to be showing you some of our new, excuse me, some of our new curriculum. And so you'll get to see what that looks like and, what we've been working so hard on for a while. And then tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be talking about just the different courses and programs that we have. And then Friday, we're going to do another live market analysis in the morning, and then the scholarship winner in the afternoon. So the scholarship winners announcement in the afternoon. So that is something that we're looking forward to being able to share with you guys. And just have you guys here. It's really nice for us. So, all right, so let's go ahead and head over to the news. So whenever we go to the news, we can just go right here to responsibledaytrading.com and we can go over to market news. And right there, we're going to see that we already had news come out for today. So we had some this morning. Now, with what we do here in particular, we're not really super concerned about news. We do want to pay attention to when it's happening, just so we can know when we're going to maybe see a spike. And something more along the lines of being very aware of when we have FOMC, because FOMC is something that even I sit out on. I don't want to be a part of FOMC because it's just a little too crazy for me. But besides that, Thursday, we have news pre-market, and then we have half an hour after market opens, because these are in Central Time. And if you ever want to change the filters or anything, you can do that up here. So you can we're just looking at the high impact news here. I don't concern myself with the other ones, because if the high impact news doesn't even move it, imagine what just these lower impact and worrying yourself about those kind of things do. But then we've got Powell speaking at 11, which can be kind of a market mover. And we don't have anything on Friday. So let's go ahead and head on over. I feel like there was something else I needed to say, but I think that's it. Oh, yes. I do want to talk about chart setup before we get started here. So we use basically a 3-chart system. Typically, you'll see a 10,946, a 1597, and the 233. We do also use the daily chart and the 28,657. And these are so we can get a much bigger perspective on things. And it's actually changed from what we saw earlier. So Deivis, what you have to say later is going to be a little different. But
Yeah.
so we get that bigger perspective by seeing what's really happening on these larger charts, but we don't want to hold on to those necessarily as something we're going to trade, right? We just want to say, what's the bigger picture telling us? What can we anticipate from what we're seeing here? And so those are very, very helpful in that sense, having the 28,657 and the daily chart. But if we spend too much time on those, we're really going to get ourselves caught up to where we can't experience low risk, which is why we have the 10,946 and the 233, 1597 combo. So the 10,946, which some will also use the 4181 instead of the 10,946, which just kind of brings it in a little bit. And if they're going to do that, then they also switch over here to the 610 tick chart. So with those, it connects the EMAs that are on these charts, guys. It makes it very cyclical and much easier to read when we have these patterns happening with our Fibonacci numbers that we're using. So the 10,946 is pretty much as high as we'll go for a trading chart. Can you go a little bit higher than that? That is your prerogative if you want to do something more along the lines of swing trading, but we're day traders here, so we're in and out with quick, much quicker. So on the 10,946, we're not necessarily going to trade this, but we're going to be looking at what the bigger picture is telling us. Our trading chart will always be our middle chart. And there may be, which I can't do it with his charts here, there may be an instance where you move the 1597 over here and you move the 610 in the middle and use it as your trading chart and have your 233 over here. But basically what it is we're looking at the movement from the bigger charts, the bigger picture. What is the strength in the overall move to continue with a trade? We're looking at the middle chart, excuse me. We're looking at the middle chart to be our trading chart. So with this middle chart, we're looking for what are our setups that are happening. And then we move over to our smaller chart or our 233, so we can really minimize our risk and not have giant risk when it's, because we want to see the same things happening. We want to see pullbacks. We want to see an area anticipated to hold. We want to see the MACDs in favor of it. And we want to see something like a reversal bar pattern. I'm sorry, they're like mowing outside and I think it's starting to give me a little bit of a tickle in the throat. But so that's how we keep our risk low and we're able to still see the patterns happening in a decent area that gives us area to run. And then we look at the bigger picture to tell us what's the probability of this continuing with this. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let Dan take over and talk about the daily chart and the 28,657, what we're seeing, what our expectations are.
Okay. Can I just ask everyone in the chat, could you just put a yes if you can see all of the charts clearly, just to make sure that we've got it centered enough for you? Cool. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So we'll start off with the daily. We'll look at the overall. So where's the direction, shall I say? So you can see that the price is now below the EMAs, and for our MACDs, we are below the zero line. So the direction is to the downside. Now we've pushed through the EMAs and we've pulled back to them. And we can see the price now is kind of clustered together. It's kind of gone sideways. Something that's interesting to see is that these MACDs, though, although we've had that sideways movement in the price, the MACDs have still stayed blue and on the outside of these Bollinger Bands. So now we've got to see, what are we going to be anticipating? So we're going to see, are we going to get the roll in the BBs with the roll in the price to indicate more down? Or are we actually going to perhaps get a weak move down or some retracement divergence for us to then push to the upside? Now with that, we could still get a slight push down in the price before we get a strong push to the upside. So they're the two main scenarios that we're going to be looking at in terms of what could be happening and what potential there is. So from that, I would then go on to the 28,657. Now, this is quite interesting because we were talking about this about 10 minutes ago, just about all of our charts. And we were saying about how we've had the EMA crossover and we're below the zero line yet again. So the direction again is to the downside. We were saying how these purple BBs down here, even though they were dark in the color, they were still rather weak. And we were saying about how far it's pulled away from those EMAs. So we open ourselves up for the possibility of a snapback. And that's exactly what's happening here with this area of support being tagged down here with a slight overrun, with that strong flag reversal bar getting inside of those Bollinger Bands and now snapping to the other side. And with those BBs, you can see here the increase in the distance with the strength picking up. So what will we be looking at now? As you can see, we've approached that EMA of the 28,657, and now we're paying close attention to this bar here to see what reaction we're having off that EMA. So apart from that, I would then be looking at what areas we want to be assessing the strength, but we would then move down to our 10,946. So I'll hand this one over to Deivis.
Hold on, before you go over that one, I really like that. I mean, we were really talking about the fact that this divergence and this slowdown in these MACDs and having all the distance to run back to these EMAs could just be a great area to snap back. And I know you said that, but it's just, I love seeing that and being able to anticipate that ahead of time, because that was a big area to run back up to the EMAs. So with that anticipation, that gave you a pretty good area to be able to trade back all the way up into the EMAs, which aren't exactly strong right now. We've gone above and below and above and below. They are starting to open up. So we may see this push down, but watching those MACDs is going to be so telling of whether or not this should push back through this area and continue to the upside, or if we're finally going to get the EMAs opening up and pushing down. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit. Sorry.
It's all right.
But good job. And so Deivis is actually going to walk us through what is happening through our trading charts.
Let me see, I already got the control. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, right now we are looking for the 10,946 for yes. It's very important that. Normally we are using micros or the yes futures. So in this case, you can see that we found the crossover and the EMAs start to be wide open. Okay, respecting the EMAs and this one also here. Okay, we can use it as a resistance. Some areas that we can use it as to get out from the trade, or you can get in. It depends how you trade in that moment. And the beginning, I was saying to Lindsay, I'm looking for a short 100%, but if you can see the divergence in this part, okay, really quickly. And if you're looking for in the middle chart that we're using for our trading chart, it was a big move. You can see in this part right now. Okay, it's still divergence. Okay, EMAs is still respecting this part. Looking for reversal bar is depend what you're using for the entries. Okay, reversal flags. You're gonna see in the future for that. And before we were checking in that moment, in this moment, to be clearly. Okay. Wait a second. Here. Now you can see in this part retracement divergence. Okay, really clear entry for us. Then the EMAs start to be again wide open, looking for a short. In my case, it's up to you guys. It depends how you see your charts. And then it start to be this part, divergence, and the big movement. Probably to take out all these stops for the shorts, okay? And it depends how you trade. It depends how you see the market. And this is one thing that you're going to see with us, how you get in, how you can get out from the trade. To don't be greedy, by the way. And also, yes, respecting also this part of the EMAs, okay? And the big EMAs.
Hmm.
What are you seeing, Lindsay, in this part?
I'm sorry, it was just really loud outside, so I couldn't hear you very well. But yeah, so we definitely had, oh, let me go ahead and hit remote control. Okay, so we definitely had the divergence happening between these pivots right here. We had this long bar, which, you know, looking at this long bar that's happening right here, it doesn't really give us an entry point to go to the upside right there. It turns pretty quickly. So you'd have to be looking at, okay, well, I've got a small reversal bar that happened here. And at that point, let's see where we're at on, it's at 1800.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So right back in here when it's happening. And this is a really quick move, right? So when that happens, we don't want to necessarily get in right at that point, because if you click the bar, if you just click the button to get in at that point, you're definitely going to be chasing it, and your risk is going to be just in the wrong spot. It's going to be huge, right? So you want to be able to see places that give you a more viable area to get into these trades whenever it pulls back into areas like here or here. And then when we look at the 233 at those places, it gives nice little low risk areas in order to enter into these kind of things, so that you have, so you're not stressing out, your risk isn't in the wrong place. Like say you got in somewhere up in here, and then how far is that? It's hard for me to see. So that's about 2 points down to here. So you wouldn't get stopped out if you did it at that point. But if you chase it and you're getting in somewhere back in here when you're chasing it, instead of waiting for it to pull back, then you're not waiting for that pullback to happen, and it's going to stop you out before it takes off in your direction. So yeah, we had the divergence that said it was going to push up. We have the EMAs opening up to the downside, which said we have an area of resistance that we want to pay attention to. Is it going to break through that area of resistance? I don't know. It might, but I don't want to hold on and pray that it does and wait for it to pull all the way back into this area, because at that point, we're pulling back 8 points right in there. So there's no reason in wasting your profits that you've already gotten to wait for it to pull back for 8 points. And so at that time, you're basically just looking for pullbacks into the area, anticipations for it to hold, reasons to take these trades along with what we're seeing. So, you know, we had the big movement happening here. We had the MACDs showing strength out. So when it pulls back into these areas, like right in here, or even right in here, it gives us a little bit more confidence that, well, I don't know particularly this one, but the MACDs do look like they're trying to continue up. I don't know that I would definitely wait for, we do have divergence that happened here. So that was a little bit of a signal that we at least have the opportunity for it to push up a little bit. But when it pulls back at these times, it gives you a lot more comfort and stability in taking these trades instead of just hopping on whenever you've got momentum and strength. So you've got a lot of strength happening here saying, yeah, it's going to keep going. When we get to this EMA right here, it's not holding up the party. The MACDs are so strong and spread apart that we'll see the behavior of this at least continue up towards the next EMA. And that gives those opportunities in these pullbacks to participate in that. Does that make sense to everybody? So make sure everybody can hear me. Is everybody there? Yeah. Okay. Bill Dennison. You know, Dennison is actually Deivis's brother. Deivis has like made this a whole family affair. Both of his brothers are students here. And so I love it though, because then you've got a whole network of people that you can work with. All right. So Dan, what is your thought process about what we're seeing right here, right now? I mean,
So originally,
right now it's going outside. Yeah, go ahead.
Originally, I was looking at, like you said, the ultimate retracement divergence here, the potential of that roll. But with the strength coming down on the 1597, with still the strong purple, when we were looking at this, the potential of the roll and that divergence here, I thought we could be due a bit of a move up, but we pushed straight back into those 233 and 610 EMAs, which are pushing to the downside. So it was a potential opportunity, but not one I would have liked. If you were in it, you wanted to be out of it quick, either exiting quick or taking your targets very early. Right
Like
now,
as
I'm
soon
just
as
assessing.
that BB doesn't cross that, as soon as it just that blue BB just barely moves, and it tells you that it's going to give a deeper pullback for sure.
Yeah. Now I'm just assessing to see if these BBs are going to pick up the strength and carry on down, and then I'll be looking at the next area. So a lot of the process, what we do here at RDT, we're constantly assessing the strength of the areas, the strength in the MACDs, the strength in the price, and we're gauging to see what's the probability that the area is going to hold, or whether the price is too strong and the MACDs are indicating that it's got a great potential to push through the area. So you don't have to be in every trade if you're not sure, and then it's absolutely fine just to sit out and be patient and just to wait a bit longer.
Yeah, and something else that we pay a lot of attention to are where these closes on the bars are landing. So if we see closes on the bars moving to the upside and continuously moving up, you don't really want to fight that right then. So we're paying attention to where these closes happen. We're paying attention to where they land on the EMAs. We're paying attention to what the MACD behavior is happening. So we had the MACD look like it was trying to pull in, and then it pulled away from the Bollinger Bands again. And it did give us another blue BB, but we didn't even get inside of the Bollinger Bands. We didn't even get close to getting inside of the Bollinger Bands at that time. So it may be a little bit more time before we see it push up. We've got something that looks like a flag reversal bar here. Not exactly one, but it's got attributes kind of like a flag reversal bar. We'd really want to see this second close higher than this previous one, which tells me we may see this pull back in, settle in a little bit more. Now, something that is very important about what we do and the methodology is waiting for closer to close of these bars. So whenever we do the intro to futures, they are going to talk about some of this in that lesson, but we are using tick bars and tick charts. And so this is our tick counter. Now, whenever this bar opened up, the close was somewhere up here. That close, that dot on the bar was somewhere up here. But we still had so many transactions left before it completely closed. And by the end, we saw this close happen towards the bottom of the bar, which with the MACDs not rolling inside, with it still pulling away, that says we still have some momentum to the downside. So paying attention, oh, didn't mean to do that. Paying attention to that is super important, because if I get in before this really gets closer to close, the scenario can shift, right? It can change to a point where it says, oh, well, it looked like it was going up. We did have closes towards the top, but you can see what's happening right now. It's still pulling away. We never got inside of those Bollinger Bands. It's rolling to the downside.